Namaste and welcome back to Awaken Living and the Weekly Wellness Tune-Up. Recently, we did a full podcast on grief, and now I want to turn our attention to the pain we feel and how to take our pain and turn that into strength. And I'm talking about pain as the pain that we feel in our body, in our relationships, in our emotions, in our mind, not a theory or an idea, but the actual pain we feel inside of us and how we can use that to grow. And it doesn't happen if we avoid the pain. And it doesn't even happen by fixing it, which is what so many people try and do. It's the fuel for the fire to transform our lives, our relationships into something divine. But we have to transform it. We have to feel it. It's in and through the body that consciousness exists. In the Vedic psychology, in yogic psychology, in Ayurveda, pain has a very specific purpose in our life that's not random. It's our feedback loop. It's our reflection. And it shows us more than anything where we're not in alignment with ourself, with our relationships with the universe. It shows us where there may be unhealthy attachments. It may show us where there may be resistance to change in our own growth. And it happens predominantly because we have forgotten who we are. It's that simple. In Sanskrit, it's called dukkha, suffering. And the main suffering is not knowing ourself. But there's a deeper meaning to that. It means we're not aligned with truth. We're not aligned with the universal truth. We're not aligned with the truth of who we are. And that disconnects us from our essential nature. Okay. And same thing with the Ayurvedic viewpoint. Pain comes when the system is not in harmony. Vata is, when out of balance, is our fear, anxiety, and mental and emotional instability, whereas the pitta emotions become anger and frustration and intensity. And kapha is that heaviness, that grief, that stagnation, and even depression. So Ayurveda, yoga, Vedanta, it doesn't see pain as the enemy. It's literally just information, and it's showing us what's out of balance. And most of the modern world today tries to escape the pain. We go to the doctor because we have a little bit of emotional pain and they give us an antidepressant instead of saying, they don't ask, why is there pain? Same thing with addiction. Addiction is just a method of trying to remove the pain. Instead of saying, why the addiction, why the pain? And we distract ourselves, we numb ourselves out, we suppress the pain, we push it down. And what we resist will stay, and it will go deeper into the tissue. Our issues get stored in the tissues. What we avoid grows. So the very first step in healing is not to avoid it. It's to turn towards it and to sit with it and to be with it and to feel it and not labeling it as good, bad, right, or wrong. Don't even try and change it. That is the beginning of shift, is just the willingness to show up and be with what is. And if we're in pain, that's what is. And so we're just sitting there and watching it, witnessing it, giving it our love and our attention. And from the yogic viewpoint, there's 5 essential root causes of our suffering, the pancha kleshas, the 5 ignorances. So basically, avidya is not knowing our true nature. And then asmita is kind of like the ego. It's the false identity. It's not who we truly are, but we're identifying with something that we're not. And then raga and vesha is our excessive attachments to things that don't serve us. And vesha is aversion to things which may be beneficial for us, or avoiding that which is painful because we don't want to suffer. And pain and suffering are very different. And then abhini vesha is the fear of death. But that comes from not knowing who we are, because if we knew who we are, only the body dies. It's like the period at the end of a sentence. Life continues. We continue. We're immortal. We're eternal. So all pain, physical, mental, emotional, really traces back to one or many of these concepts, one of these 5 reasons of pain. So Ayurveda would say to ask, where am I attached or where am I resisting? Those two basic things, because we don't expect us to be enlightened yet. So where am I attached? What am I resisting? What am I protecting? Like the ego, like I'm so attached to my ego. What am I protecting and why? And that all this does is brings us into awareness. And when we have awareness, it creates space. And so the pain loses its strength when we stop collapsing into it. We start learning from it. We start acknowledging that it's a teacher, that it's there to teach us something. And in yoga, that's, if we're able to go into that mindfully, it's called tapas. It's the inner heat. We're having the inner fire of transformation awaken. And that's not punishment. It's not because we did bad karma or we're a bad person. It's nothing like that. It's literally just what every human has to go through, because we all got into somebody training when we were born. We had to develop an ego before we can become less ego. And really, it just depends on our willingness to stay present with the discomfort. And it's uncomfortable. And we have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Truly, we have to. Because we're going to go through uncomfortable situations no matter what. And it's the resistance that creates it more uncomfortable. So if we can sit in that, it will refine us. It will purify us. It will burn away what is not our true self. And when we can stay with the pain consciously, it builds strength. Yeah. And in the Ayurvedic model, it's called Agni. It's the digestive fire. And that Agni is not just digesting our food, it's digesting our experience, it's digesting our emotions, it's digesting everything we perceive and everything that's happening in life. And if we don't digest our experience, it becomes AMA, toxins, either metabolic toxins or emotional mental toxins that get stored in the tissues. The issues are in the tissues. It creates this toxic residue stored in the body, stored in the mind, stored in the nervous system, and then our pain is our undigested life, okay? And our strength comes from learning how to metabolize it. So how do we do that? Number one is stop. Slow down or stop. We're not human doings, we're human beings. So just sit down and be there and allow yourself to feel fully and identify what's true for you. Name what's true for you. Express what is real. What's happening in your body? Where do you feel it? And then let it move. Okay? Strength is not the absence of pain. And it's not even this concept, it's not so that we feel better, it's that we become better at feeling. It's our capacity to be with pain without losing ourself. That's the Shakti. That's the real power, right? And so we want to learn how to metabolize it. We want to let it be there, and we can move it through pranayama, through yoga, through dance, through drumming, screaming, yelling, punching a pillow, any methods of ways. But the real power is to be in what is joy and pain equally without losing ourselves, because we can lose ourselves in joy too, especially when it's related to something outside of ourselves. I'm very excited to share with you Real Mushrooms, the sponsor of the Awakened Living podcast. I use their mushrooms every single day because they've genuinely changed my life. I trust them because they have 50 years of expertise and use 100% organic mushrooms, 0 grains, 0 fillers, which are found in most common mushroom products on the market. They use just real, organic, clinically tested mushrooms. Every morning, I use lion's mane to sharpen my thinking. I use cordyceps to give me the clean energy I need for the day. I use chaga to strengthen my immune system. And when stress hits, and it does, I use reishi to bring me back to center. With their products, you actually feel the difference. Through the end of April, Real Mushrooms gives Awakened Living with Nibodhi podcast listeners 25% off their entire first order. Use the code AWAKEN25 at checkout and get 25% off your first purchase. You can find their link in the show notes or visit nibodhi.com/mushrooms to get yours today. Vedic understanding, our nature is Sat Chit Ananda, true bliss consciousness, existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is the nature of a human being. That's the nature of being. And there's a place in us that pain does not touch this. Pain happens in the body. It happens in the mind. It happens within the story that we tell ourselves over and over again. It happens in those subconscious programs. But in our true essence, we're the witness. And so if we can step aside a little bit and witness it while not bypassing it and being present with it, we become strong. We become a storehouse of strength, and we start remembering who we are, and we experience everything. And so direct experience that comes through stillness, that comes through breath work, that comes through meditation, that comes through yoga, that comes through dance, movement, awareness, staring at the open, vast sky. When we can rest as the witness, pain loses the grip. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just doesn't bind us anymore. So here's what I do. When pain arises, I stop and I connect to my breath. I use breath work. I use pranayama. I do pranayama every day to move it through my body, to move it through my consciousness. And then you breathe, and then you feel what's living in your body, where in your body. And then you identify and name the sensation. Maybe it's tightness, maybe it's heat, maybe it's cold, maybe it's pressure. And then from there, we identify what do we think that this pain is asking me to see? What can I learn from this pain? What am I holding on to? Why am I holding on? And what needs to be released? And what is actually ready to be released? And don't rush figuring this out. The answer may not come instantly. It may take days and days and days of asking these same questions. What is the pain asking me to see? What am I holding on to? Why am I holding on? What needs to be released? What's ready to be released? And let it come in its own time. But be curious. Be a scientist. Be curious. What is this all about? Then we can bring in an action to make that tangible. Because insight without action, it doesn't create strength and it doesn't create change. It's just a concept. Unless we actually do it, it's not real. It's just an idea. So if your pain is showing you an imbalance, adjust your lifestyle. Eat in ways that support your constitution. If you don't know the ways that support your constitution, I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. I offer consultations or find someone who can teach you how to eat in harmony with your constitution. Create a routine. The universe likes routine. Create a routine that's nourishing and nurturing and loving and kind and gentle. Have a great night's sleep. Make sure you're hydrated. Move your body. That's if the pain is really in the body, if there's an imbalance. If there's emotional issues going on, if your pain is showing you that there's emotional holding, speak it, speak the truth. And if you're in a toxic relationship, set boundaries, set healthy boundaries so you have the space to nurture yourself and let yourself feel the grief. We did a whole podcast on grief recently. Listen to that podcast. Let yourself feel the grief. That's what we need to do. And if you're uncomfortable in it, learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And then when we can do that, the pain becomes fuel for the fire of transformation. This is compassion. This is empathy for ourselves. We don't grow through criticism, through judgment, through harshness. We grow through awareness, and we grow through care, and we grow through gentleness. In Ayurveda, that's the Ojas, that's our vitality. It builds our resilience and it builds our inner stability. And the Ojas grows through nourishment, nourishing food, nourishing herbs, but also just nourishing our heart, nourishing our soul. It grows through rest. It grows through touch. It grows through connection. It grows through love, not through force, not through brute force. Don't try and force yourself through strength or mind over matter. Just be gentle, be loving, build it slowly, support it slowly, nourish it slowly. Because if we don't, the pain will break us and it leads to dis-ease. Pain can also completely open us up. It can open our heart like the lotus. The lotus starts in this dark, murky pond, and finally it reaches the light of day, and it's this beautiful, fragrant, divinely looking flower that represents our spiritual heart. It represents our soul's journey from the darkness into the light. The thing that makes the difference for the humans is our presence, and it's our awareness and our willingness to become present and to become aware and to sit with what is. And every time we can sit with that pain with awareness, when we can sit and be comfortable in the uncomfortable, we reclaim our Shakti, we reclaim our energy. And when we decide to stop running from it, from numbing it, from the drugs, the alcohol, the shopping, whatever it is that we're doing, we build more Shakti. We build more power inside us. And when we choose to face the truth over being comfortable, we grow. And you start filling yourself with light. So your pain is not an obstacle to growth. Your pain is not blocking your growth. It's not in the way. It is the way. The pain is the path. If you have pain, that is your path. If you have grief, that is your path. So take that breath. Feel your body. Notice what's right here, right now inside of you. Let go of the story. Let go of the judgment. Let go of the criticism. Let go of the guilt and shame, and be in awareness. That is where we begin. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention to yourself. Thank you for listening. And if today's talk resonated with you, please share this with someone who you think could use it, could benefit from it, because it's when we share our story, when we share our pain, when we share our love, when we share our failures and successes, we grow. And also, if you missed the grief podcast, I recommend going back and listening to that, because these are tied in. Don't try and fix anything. Don't try to change anything all at once. Just feel, just be. Be who you are. Be in the present moment. I've been saying be love now, because tomorrow does not exist. Only the present moment exists. We need to be present for ourselves here and now. Before you go, if you've been curious about Ayurveda and want to actually understand your body and start applying it into your daily life, I built the complete Ayurveda course for exactly that. It contains more than 30 years of education and practice distilled into 50 lessons, with over 10 hours of content, guided meditations, personalized assessments, and so much more. It's designed so you'll feel real shifts as you go through it. You'll experience more energy, better digestion, increased mental clarity, and a deeper sense of balance. Lesson by lesson, it's all there. So go to Nibodhi.com/courses to learn more.